Today we're going to talk about Netflix, but not the Netflix you know now. We're diving into one of the biggest corporate faceplants of all time. The story of how the king of streaming almost, and I mean almost, took itself out with one terrible, terrible decision. So let me ask you, what do you think was Netflix's biggest mistake ever? Was it letting Disney Plus get so big? Maybe canceling that show you loved? Nope. The real answer is this story that a lot of people have actually forgotten. But trust me, Netflix hasn't.
And yeah, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. Their biggest enemy wasn't Blockbuster. It wasn't HBO or any other competitor. It was themselves. This was a completely self-inflicted wound, a crisis they built with their own two hands, and it changed everything for them.
Okay, so to really get how big of a deal this was, we gotta rewind. Let's go back to early 2011. At this point, Netflix is on top of the world. They're not just some company, they are the company, the absolute undisputed king of streaming. I mean, check this out, 20 million subscribers. And these weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. This was a massive, super loyal fan base. These were the people who helped Netflix completely change how all of us watch TV and movies.
And you know who else loved them? Wall Street. Oh man, they were obsessed. The stock price just exploded, shooting past $300 a share. Seriously, Netflix looked like they could do no wrong. They seemed totally invincible.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a story about a spectacular crash and burn. It's really about what they learned from it. So you're gonna wanna stick around because the lessons they pulled from this mess are gold for literally any team or leader out there. All right, so how does a company on top of the world suddenly find itself on the ropes? Well, it was a brutal 1-2 punch. Two horrible decisions back to back that just completely turned their own fans against them. And the speed here is just insane. This whole thing went down in just a couple of months. First, in July 2011, they hit everyone with a shocking price hike. Then, just when people were mad about that, they followed up in September with Qwikster, and nobody knew what to make of it. Let's talk about that price hike. It was huge. If you were one of the millions of people who liked streaming and getting those red DVD envelopes, your bill jumped by 60%. 6-0. Just like that, overnight. People were not happy. The anger was instant. But that price hike was nothing compared to the Qwikster announcement. That was the knockout punch. See, they decided to split the company in two. Streaming would stay Netflix, but the DVD part, the part that made them famous, was going to be a whole new company called Qwikster. So they took this beautifully simple thing they had, one account, one bill, easy, and just blew it up. Now you needed 2 websites, 2 logins, 2 bills. It was a complete and total mess. They basically torched their own user experience. So what happened? People left in droves. In just the next few months, 800,000 people canceled. 800,000. I mean, the message from their customers couldn't have been clearer. And the hit on Wall Street? Oh, it was a bloodbath. Remember that $300 stock price? In 4 months, it cratered. It dropped almost 77%, all the way down to $77. It was a complete disaster. And the craziest part? They did it to themselves. Okay, so let's recap. The company is in a nosedive. Customers are furious. Investors are freaking out. It's total chaos. But what they did next? Well, it's a perfect lesson in how to admit you messed up and pull yourself back from the edge. Instead of digging in their heels and saying, we're right, they actually listened. And just 3 weeks, that's it, only 21 days, after they announced this whole Qwikster thing, they killed it. Completely abandoned the plan. It was a shocking U-turn. And this is the key part. The CEO, Reed Hastings, came out and just owned it. He wrote this public apology and he didn't beat around the bush. He said, flat out, I messed up. Can you imagine a CEO saying that today? That kind of honesty was exactly what they needed to do to start fixing things. You know, this whole disaster, as awful as it was, turned out to be a defining moment for Netflix. It was like they were forged in fire. They didn't just get through it, they used the pain of this failure to completely rebuild their company culture. And the lessons they learned are still at the core of how they operate today. And one of the biggest things to come out of it was this idea they call farming for dissent. It's a pretty cool concept. Basically, it means instead of everyone trying to agree all the time, leaders should actively look for people who disagree with a plan. Encourage them to speak up and poke holes in it before you make a big move. You know, They looked back and realized, man, if just one person high up had felt safe enough to really challenge the Qwikster idea, this whole thing probably never would have happened. So when you boil it all down, they basically wrote the playbook on how to survive a self-made crisis. Lesson 1, the customer experience is everything. Your brilliant strategy means absolutely nothing if it makes things harder for your customers. Lesson 2, when you screw up, just admit it. Admit it fast, say you're sorry, and change course, no ego. And lesson 3, probably the most important of all, create a culture where people aren't afraid to disagree. In fact, you should be actively looking for disagreement to make your ideas stronger. And that's what I want to leave you with. It's a really simple question to ask yourself and your team. Do you guys reward people for agreeing, or do you hunt for disagreement? Are you farming for dissent, or are you just enforcing consensus? Because honestly, the answer to that question could be the one thing that saves you from having your very own Qwikster moment.
Subscribe for more content.